Have you ever been on a software project that just gets tangled? Where everything feels messy over time? Well, today we're going to dig into a really cool solution based on an article by Vineet Sharma. We're going to see how mixing two super powerful ideas, clean architecture and vertical slice architecture, can help us build apps that are strong, scalable, and, actually fun to work on. Let's start with a feeling I'm sure every developer knows. You're on a project, and you have to make what should be a simple change, but it feels like you're trying to solve a Rubik's Cube in the dark. It's that classic, dreaded spaghetti code. You know the drill. You change one little thing over here, and suddenly a feature you haven't even looked at in months just breaks. The whole thing is this giant, fragile web, and it makes every single change slow, super risky, and honestly, just frustrating. And this right here, this is what we're talking about today, the codebase conundrum. How in the world do we build software that can actually grow and change without collapsing under its own weight? Okay, so to try and solve this puzzle, two big ideas have really come to the forefront. We can either organize our code by its technical job, in horizontal layers, or we can organize it by what it does for the user in vertical slices. So, which way do we go? Do we build in layers, or do we build in slices? All right, let's start with the layered approach, which you've probably heard of as clean architecture. Think of it like building a house. With this method, you'd lay down the entire foundation for the whole house first. Then you'd build all the walls. Then you'd install all the plumbing. You're organized by the type of job, not by the room. And this diagram shows it perfectly. Just look at the left side there. You see these clear horizontal layers. You've got presentation up top for the UI, application for the business rules, domain for your core models, and the golden rule here is that dependencies only ever point inwards. This protects your most important business logic from changes in the outside world. Now let's look at the other way of thinking, vertical slice architecture. Let's go back to our house analogy. This approach is like building the house one room at a time, but finishing each room completely. You build the master bedroom, foundation, walls, electrical, paint, everything. Once it's done, you move on to the kitchen. Now shift your eyes to the right side of that diagram. See how it's organized by features? Create unit, get units. Each one of those is a self-contained vertical slice. All the code you need to create a unit, from the button in the UI down to the database query, it all lives together in one place, totally separate from the code that gets units. And this is where things get really, really cool. This leads to the big aha moment. What if you didn't have to choose between layers and slices? What if you could actually get the best of both worlds? So, after all that, which one is it? Which one is actually better? And the answer is just so good. You don't have to choose. They're not fighting each other. They actually work together beautifully. One gives us that clean internal structure, and the other gives us a sane way to organize the whole thing. Okay, this is the most important takeaway, right here. The real magic happens when you apply the rules of clean architecture, those layers, that dependency rule, inside of each vertical slice. Think about that. Every single feature becomes its own tiny, perfectly structured mini application. You get the focus of a slice with the discipline of layers. It's amazing. So this sounds fantastic in theory, right? But how do we actually make it work without creating a whole new kind of tangled mess? How do we make sure these separate slices can, talk to each other when they need to? Well, the article lays out 3 key patterns to make this happen. First, we're going to keep our slices separate using a pattern called mediator. Second, we'll handle errors in a really clean way with the result pattern. And third, we'll pull out all that common code using something called pipeline behaviors. Okay, so mediator is basically the secret sauce here. It's like a traffic controller for your whole application. A request comes in, and mediator just sends it to the right handler in the right slice. And the best part, the create unit slice has no idea that the get unit slice even exists. They are completely decoupled. That's what stops the spaghetti code from ever forming. But you might be asking, what about code that has to run for every request, like logging or user validation? You don't want to copy and paste that into every single slice, right? Of course not. That's what pipeline behaviors are for. As you can see in the diagram, they basically intercept a request before it gets to its final destination. This lets us build a pipeline for things like logging, validation, or transactions, all in one central place, keeping our feature code super clean and focused. So we do all this work, we set up this beautiful architecture. What's the payoff? Why should we even bother? Oh, the benefits are huge. Seriously. Maintainability goes way up because all the related code is in one place. Testing becomes a dream because you can test each feature in total isolation. It's more scalable because you can fine-tune individual features. And maybe the biggest win, it's a total game changer for teams, giving them the autonomy to work in parallel without tripping over each other. And this quote from the source article just nails it. When your features are independent, your teams can be independent. One team can be shipping the create unit feature, while another is still building the update unit feature, and neither one is blocking the other. It's fantastic. This structure also naturally leads to a much healthier approach to testing. You get this beautiful test pyramid where you can have tons of super fast unit tests at the bottom, a good number of integration tests for each slice, and just a few of those slow, full end-to-end tests at the very top. This makes your whole testing process faster, more reliable, and gives you a much more robust application. So, by combining the structure of clean architecture with a focus of vertical slices, we can build software that's actually designed for change, for growth. It's organized, it's maintainable, it's just better. So the final question I'll leave you with is, maybe it's time to start slicing up your architecture.